Lovers Pro, your #1 lovers professor on YouTube.
What makes a woman want to sleep with you? Click the like button now, and subscribe to this channel for more interesting updates. Is it true that a chap can laugh a woman into bed? Does he need to be tall, dark and handsome to stand any chance at all? In a study that examined the influence of various male characteristics on a woman's sexual satisfaction, 5 personality traits were found to be so attractive to women that they initiate sex more often with men who possess these traits. Welcome to Lovers Pro, your #1 lovers professor on YouTube. In this video, you'll learn the male traits that will make women sleep with you. Before we proceed, give this video a thumbs up. And if you're new here, subscribe and hit the bell icon. Women will sleep with you if you have these traits. 1. Height. What sort of body does a woman find desirable? Perhaps the most obvious physical characteristic she looks for in a man is height. Studies consistently find that women consider tall men to be attractive. In analyses of personal ads, 80% of women state they want to meet a man who is 6 feet or taller. Men who indicate in their personal ads that they are tall have also been shown to receive far more responses from women. Other studies show women prefer tall men as husbands, and put an even greater emphasis on height in shorter-term sex partners. Women even place importance on height when selecting sperm donors. 2 studies also found that taller than average men tend to have a greater number of live-in girlfriends and more children, confirming their popularity for romance and reproduction, and there does seem to be an underlying logic in women's preference for tall men. 2. Fit for sex. Height is not the only aspect of men's bodies that excites women. Studies of mate preferences reveal that women desire strong, muscular, athletic men for long-term partnerships as well as for sexual liaisons. Most women also show a distinct preference for a V-shaped torso, broad shoulders relative to hips. They are also attracted to a lean stomach combined with a muscular, but not muscle-bound, upper torso. In fact, both sexes judge men with a high shoulder-to-hip ratio to be more physically and socially dominant. This may give a clue to its appeal, since women are not attracted to men who appear as though they could be easily dominated by other men. Men with a high shoulder-to-hip ratio begin having sexual intercourse at an early age 16 or younger. They report having more sex partners than their slim-shouldered peers. But be warned, they have more affairs while in a relationship, and they report more instances of being chosen by women who are already in relationships for affairs on the side. Scientific research has discovered that men overestimate the degree of muscularity that women find attractive, assuming they need to pump iron and sport a honed six-pack to be attractive. Images of muscle-bound men have almost certainly fostered men's misperception of what women find most sexually attractive, just as photo spreads of impossibly thin models have led women to overestimate the degree of thinness that men find most attractive. After viewing repeated images of V-shaped bodies, men become more dissatisfied with their own bodies, just as women become more unhappy with their bodies after seeing images of size 0 models. 3. Scent of sex. According to new scientific research, a woman will literally sniff out a man's genetic makeup before she decides if he's right for her. A woman's sense of smell reaches a peak around the time of her ovulation, the 24-hour window during the monthly menstrual cycle in which she can become pregnant. The genes responsible for fighting off disease-causing bacteria and viruses are found in a group of genes called the Major Histocompatibility Complex, or MHC. Different people have various versions of these genes, and it turns out that women can benefit in 2 ways from mating with men whose MHC genes are dissimilar to their own. Such a mate is likely to have more dissimilar genes in general, so finding someone dissimilar attractive might help to prevent many of the birth defects associated with reproducing with close genetic relatives. A second benefit is any children of such a union will have a more robust immune system. The interesting thing is that women seem to be able to sniff out men with dissimilar MHC. In a revealing study, Brazilian researchers asked 29 men to wear cotton skin patches for 5 days to absorb their sweat, and thus their body odors. A sample of 29 women then smelled each cotton patch and evaluated the odor on a scale from attractive to unattractive. Scientists identified the specific MHC complex of each man and woman through blood tests. Women found the aromas of men who had a complex dissimilar to their own to be the most desirable. The odors of men who had a complex similar to their own made them recoil in disgust. This highly developed sense of smell can have a profound effect on women's sexuality. Women whose partners had similar genes reported wanting to have sex less often. They had less motivation to please their partner sexually compared to the women going out with men with dissimilar genes. Women with MHC-similar partners also reported more frequent sexual fantasies about other men, particularly at the most fertile phase of their ovulation cycle. And their sexual fantasies about other men did not just remain in their heads. They also reported higher rates of sexual infidelity. 4. A face of attraction. When it comes to choosing between a rugged, conventionally handsome man and an ordinary, less attractive partner, women have a difficult choice to make. In a series of scientific studies, Women found square-jawed masculine faces to be the sexiest and the most attractive for a casual sexual encounter. But they judged somewhat less masculine faces to be more attractive for a long-term relationship. Women's sexual desires for testosterone-fueled facial cues of masculinity were especially strong during the fertile window of their cycle. The most plausible interpretation of these results is that women are attracted to men who are likely to be good dads when choosing long-term mates, but are attracted to the signals of robust health that more masculine faces provide when they are most likely to become impregnated. Why do more masculine faces signify health? High testosterone production actually compromises the body's immune functioning, leaving men less able to fight off diseases and parasites in adolescence. Only men who are above average in healthiness during adolescence can afford to produce the high levels of testosterone that masculinize the face. Less healthy adolescents can't afford to compromise their already precarious immune systems, and so produce lower levels of testosterone at precisely the time when facial bones take their adult form. So, a masculine-looking face signals a man's health, his ability to succeed in competing with other men, and his ability to protect. This interpretation, however, raises a puzzle. Why wouldn't women be attracted to highly masculine males for all mating relationships, from dangerous liaisons through to lifelong love? The answer lies in the fact that the more masculine men with more testosterone tend to be less sexually faithful. They are more likely to be the risk-taking womanizing bad boys among the male population. Consequently, most women face a trade-off. If they choose the less masculine-looking man, they are likely to get a better father and sexually loyal mate, but they lose out in the currency of genes for good health. If they choose the more masculine man, they can endow their children with good genes for health, but must suffer the costs of a man who channels some of his sexual energy toward other women. It's a tricky choice. 5. A sexy voice. Voice pitch is the most striking feature of human speech, and according to research, there's a definite sound of sexiness, something about male voices that gives women a sexual buzz. Before puberty, male and female voices are similar. At puberty, however, remarkable changes occur. Boys experience a dramatic increase in the length of their vocal cords, which become 60% longer than those of girls. Longer vocal cords and tracts produce a deeper, more resonant voice pitch. Testosterone triggers the change in boys at puberty, and high levels of testosterone predict deeper voices among adult men. Recent investigations show that whether women are looking for a short-term or long-term relationship, it's critical in how they choose among men's voices. Evolutionary anthropologist David Putz obtained voice recordings of 30 men attempting to persuade a woman to go out on a romantic date. Then 142 heterosexual women listened to the recordings, and rated each man's attractiveness for a short-term sexual encounter, and a long-term committed relationship. Though women said the deeper voices were more attractive in both mating contexts, they dramatically preferred the deeper voices when considering them as prospects for purely sexual, short-term encounters. Moreover, women in the fertile phase of their ovulation cycle show the strongest sexual attraction to men with deep voices. So, when a woman finds the resonance of a man's voice even sexier during her fertile ovulatory phase, she is attracted to the sound of healthy genes for her possible offspring. Those are the 5 traits that will make women want to sleep with you.
If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to our channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button now. Click the bell icon, so that you won't miss any of our interesting videos. We love your comments and feedback. Put your comments in the comments section below. Remember, we will be glad if you share this video. Please share this video with your friends. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next video.